Okay, so this is a Trinity-specific video. So if you're not one of my students, go away. But this is all about scheduling for your senior year. If you're already a senior in my class, you're good. You're going to graduate. Congratulations, you did it. If you're a junior and you're going into your senior year, you're going to be the big person on the campus. Here's some advice that I have for your senior year, for kind of broken down into each of the subjects and some of the electives, which we'll kind of see on this side. So let's take a look at this. In terms of mathematics and what you should be taking, I recommend whatever is your next in step, take it. Okay? I know some of you have tried to double up so that you don't have to take math your senior year. That's a terrible idea because there's no way you're completely done with math. And math is one of those things that as you are younger, it is actually easier to learn. And if you happen to need some advanced mathematics when you're older and you don't know it yet, it is very difficult to understand it. So whatever you have, just take the next one in line. The only thing that kind of gets weird with is if you were taking pre-calc this year as a junior, whether it was just regular pre-calc or honors pre-calc, then next year you're going to have the choice between AP Statistics or AP Calculus A/B. That's Calc 1 with Cotton. My recommendation is if you've got the time in your schedule, take both. But if you're like, I'm not taking both, are you kidding me? That's fine. What I would do is I'd start thinking about what you want to do whenever you leave Trinity. You probably don't know what you want to do when you leave Trinity yet. I don't even know what I want to do now in my life, and like I have a job teaching. But like who knows? But you know, if you know you want to go to college for something, and you kind of know what kind of major, kind of what field that is, go check out some college pages and look at what their course requirements are. If they're requiring you to take a calculus course in college, then take it in high school with Cotton. She is one of the best math teachers I have ever seen, and it is way easier for her to teach it to you than for you to go and pay someone a ton of money to do like an average job at it. If you realize that, hey, in college or wherever you're going, you need statistics instead, then take statistics with Scroop. And if you're like, hey, I need both of them, take both of them, right? So that's what I recommend in math. But other than that, like wherever you are, just take the next one up in line. If you were taking calculus this year, go take BC Calc with Mr. Phillips. The first part of BC Calc is actually a review of the previous year. That's why these are called A, B, and then BC. The B is what overlaps. I highly recommend if you are in BC Calc that you take the AP Stats too, because your first half of the year with BC Calculus is just a review. So you've got a ton of time in order to go learn some statistics as well. In terms of English, I have no idea what is anything in English. But if you like it, if you think you're going to be a writer or something, you want to do an AP English. But if you're like, look, I'm just taking English because I need to take an English 12, whatever. I just took regular English all through my high school career because I wasn't a big fan of kind of what the classes did. I love reading and stuff, but that's, I don't know. High school English is kind of different. So that's up to you. Same thing with social studies or your history courses. I have no idea of the world of history. I know a lot of kids in their senior year, because they have the option to, like to take the psychology courses or AP Psych. Some of you may have already taken that, but really whatever you're interested in, go have fun with it. That's what I recommend there. If you want to go be like a history major or like a major history buff, then take as many as you can. Fit them all in if you can. I don't know. But I don't really have a lot to say about that. In terms of your science courses, just like last year, you've got a ton of options as seniors because all of these semester courses have opened up to you, such as the astronomy and meteorology, the geology and oceanography, anatomy and physiology, and VSI, forensic science, and conservation biology. As seniors, you also have, don't forget, there's a intro to organic chemistry, and then you've got all your like AP courses. You cannot take AP Physics 1. AP Physics 1 is just physics, but more accelerated and more advanced. They do pretty much the exact same thing we did, but they do a little bit more stuff at angles and a little bit like tiny, larger problems. So you cannot take Physics 1. You've already taken a physics course. What you can take is Physics 2. This is a course that I teach. We cover thermodynamics, modern physics with nuclear, electricity and magnetism, and optics. It has nothing to do with this year. So if you learned nothing out of this year, it really doesn't matter. AP Physics is totally different content. I do teach it differently than my CP classes, if you're curious about that. CP classes this year have been a lot of kind of like projects and project learning, so that, if you're not going into physics, you can kind of take these skills and use them in the real world. AP Physics 2 is more geared to here are labs, here are kind of problems and thinking about that and working out the mathematics. Because if you're taking AP Physics 2 and you're learning your thermodynamics and whatnot, you're probably going into some sort of science or engineering, and I'm trying to prep you for college. So if you're not looking into a science or engineering path, then AP Physics 2 might not be for you, unless you just want to have some fun with more physics, which that's totally fine. I had a person a few years ago take Physics 2, and they wanted to go into journalism, but they just really liked the science. So if you really like the science and want to have fun with that, then AP Physics 2. The Intro to Organic Chemistry, I recommend to anybody going into a medical field, because you will have to take what is known as OChem, Organic Chemistry, at some point in your college career. OChem is very difficult. It is a backbreaker of students in college, and if you have a little bit of a taste of it from high school, then hopefully your college experience will go better. If you are going into that medical field or something to do in that kind of world, possibly nursing, then AP Biology is also a nice pickup there. These two go hand in hand. It's a lot of work for Smith's class and Frazee for OChem, but if you can pull it off, you'll be leagues ahead of others. AP Chem is also a great course. There are a ton of different majors in colleges that you'll need that chemistry. If you're not planning to go to college, then you probably don't need the AP Chem. And AP Environmental Science is one of the last AP courses for the sciences. Students tend to say that this is slightly easier. That's the word on the street. I think AP Environmental Science just has less math in it, and traditionally some students don't like math, so they think this is easier. It's a lot more writing, but you kind of do stuff where you look at kind of environmental patterns, kind of stream cycles. It's very similar to this environmental science, which is 1 semester, but this is just more advanced to go deeper into things, and it's 3 semesters because it's got a lab component there. So just be aware of that. That's what the 3 semesters means. They means lab. As for forensic science and anatomy and physiology, anatomy and physiology is great if you're going into the medical field because you can learn all the bones and different systems in the body. Forensics is kind of a niche thing. If you're going into law, then forensic science is cool and useful, but other than that, it's just a neat thing to do. Geology and oceanography, I like Earth. I don't care for the oceans, so that's a 50-50 on that, but it's only 1 semester, so you don't have to go all in on that. You can pick something else. The astronomy course is taught, depends on when you have it, either by Mr. Powell or by Mrs. Monteleone. You talk about space and whatnot and the atmosphere. Personally, I love astronomy. That's my background, right? But it's not as mathy. It's a lot more kind of just understanding what is out there. So if you liked the space talks early this year, then that might be a really fun course for you. But that's what I recommend for the science. Just if you're not looking to go into college for a science or STEM field or kind of an engineering field, then kind of take what you want from the semester courses and just have fun with it. Just keep learning. If you know where you want to hammer down or what you want to focus into, if that's an engineering thing, then maybe AP Physics 2. If it's a chemical engineering, then chemistry, definitely. If you're looking more of a medical field, then OChem and biology. That's where you want to be. And if you want to do either not materials engineering. I don't know. There's an engineering that goes with the environment. Environmental engineering, duh. If you want to do environmental engineering, then AP and Sci would be good for that. So those are what I recommend in that regard. As for electives over here on the right side, electives are a totally awesome thing, and our high school actually has a ton more electives than a lot of other schools in the region. So if you're looking for English electives like journalism, then if you're taking journalism your senior year, you've probably taken it before, meaning you're in journalism 4 or something like that. This is just a classic one if you like that. If you're terrible at public speaking, then you need to go take a public speaking course because you're going to have to talk your whole life. If you really do like public speaking and you like fighting people, go take debate. none of you need SAT prep unless you're trying to get a higher SAT score. And if you are, just come and see me. Like, math does that for you. And if you need help with math, either I can teach you or Cotton can teach you better. If you want to do some more math stuff, really the math over here is a lot of computer courses. And I highly recommend that if you've never taken a computer course at the high school, you do so. If you remember back earlier in the year when we were playing with those BBC Micro bits. It's just that, but like the next step in the line. So a great place to start off is Python programming or Intro to Java. And we should have somewhere, it's actually down here in the business and technology. It's called AP Computer Science Principles. I really think this should be up in the math department, but it's not, whatever. But if you want to take a computer course, then one of these up here in this math segment or this AP Computer Science Principles is a great thing to do. And there's also computer programming with Alice. That's another good one. Let's see, what else we got here? Languages are languages. If you want to learn German or Spanish, woot, go for that. And if you are kind of already doing something with the FFA, then you probably know all sorts of things about the ag education we have at the high school. I'll come back to some of the things in there in just a second. When we go down to business and tech, if you want to do some more computer stuff with like web design, we've got that. If you want to go into more of a entrepreneur, like I want to run my own business, I want to kind of manage things, then I would highly recommend management, marketing, and math. The virtual business is great, and I think there's a Vert Business 2 somewhere. Here it is. Here's Virtual Business 2. And then we've got all the accounting courses. I've had a number of students take accounting 1, 2, and 3 over the years, and they become masters of Microsoft Excel. So, and I know, like, even talking to my wife, Excel is just like a huge thing to use in the like workplace. So if you can get good at that, then you'll be a leg up on people. And then we even have advanced accounting here for people who just like can't get enough of it. Sports and entertainment marketing or management or whatever it is. It's just a fun course. But if you want to go into that as like a major, you can actually major with that in a lot of colleges. So if you're kind of into it, go do it. And then let's see. I think this scrolls down. Why isn't this scrolling down? There we go. Okay. And then for family consumer sciences, if you want to do child dev or cooking class, if you just want something to kind of fill your schedule for fun, those are nice things there. If you're going for more of the art world of things, what I can say about the art is this: you will never have another point in your life until you are like 70 and have retired to just sit down and do art. And it is more than likely that you will never own a large kiln in your house or a pottery wheel. Like, they're thousands of dollars, and when you're trying to pay a mortgage and you need a room in order to like sleep in, you don't have a space for a giant kiln. The high school has it, and we've already bought it, so you can just use it. So if you want to do something that you may never be able to do in your life after your senior year, then I highly recommend you take a ceramics class or a photography class or just anything here. You're never going to have the expertise in one room again to show you how to do some of these things, and finding someone who's actually good at them, like our art department is a very difficult thing to do. So I highly recommend, if you've never done that, if you've never done that, then you take a look at them and you just try something out. Try something different. Maybe you love it. But you'll probably never get another chance to do this. I know I certainly have it. Like, I've never had the opportunity to take a ceramics class. So just be aware of that. If you're into all the music stuff, then you're probably already taking the music because you play some instrument you have for years, but that is all down here. You can learn some guitar. I think you can also learn some piano going through that. The interesting thing I'd like to talk about now, which takes us back into ag, is our IT department, our industrial technology. Downstairs between Mr. Husk, Mr. Chrisman, and Mr. Prentice, we have some of the craziest equipment down there. We have a full metal shop with welders, plasma cutters, planers, metal bend, like everything. We've got a full wood shop in the basement, and we have a fab lab where we have 3D printers, screen printers, a giant CNC machine, like the size of a room. Like the stuff we have there is insane. And the best part about taking one of these courses in this list is there is no homework. There can't be any homework because you don't have a plasma cutter at home. Period. Like, who's gonna own a plasma cutter? Like, that takes up, half of the size of a room. So we have this stuff here, and we have people who know how to use it, and they can teach you to use it. So basically, you just show up to these classes, and you just build stuff all day, and you just have fun, and then you go home. So they're great courses to fit into the day. They're super, like, I would call them, like, chill, because you are just, like, learning how to do stuff and doing it. And as soon as you leave the door to that classroom, you don't have to worry about it anymore. There's no homework. It's just what you do in the class is what you do in the class, and that's it. So I would highly recommend taking one of those. It doesn't, like, put a big load on your schedule at all, and they're really cool things. If you've never done a woodworking course, like, just totally awesome with Chrisman. The metalworking with Husk and Prentice, and even these drafting courses are giant for just being able to, like, kind of blueprint out a house, or I want to put a deck on my house. How would I do that? We also offer a few other cool things in more like the tech world. We've got an advanced graphics class, and we also have robotics and advanced robotics. There is somewhere right here an animation course we actually offer, which uses a whole 3D motion capture suit, and you actually, like, animate people and things. This is actually really big in the movie industry, in order to, like, do all your CGI stuff, which is like Avengers world. We've also got a drone class now, which is pretty cool. Some of these industrial technology things don't exist over here. They're actually categorized in the ag department. I wanted to take this in high school so bad, and I didn't get a chance. It didn't fit in my schedule. But we've got a small gas engine course. So, like, you just repair lawnmowers, snow blowers, like small little go-kart engines. Really cool stuff. We also have, if you're into it, like an animal science course. And we've got an intro to ag mechanics course. So if you're kind of interested in, like, building stuff or, like, working on things, this is really, really cool. We also do, like, a hydroponics course with the freight farm in the back, so you can learn how to, like, grow things. It's just some really cool things over here. But if you want to look at that, like, I would talk to Hartley or Burchett for more information about those. But there's really cool things in there. So just build go-karts. We've also got sports medicine education. I wouldn't really worry about these unless you are planning on going into some sort of medical field. If you're going into physical therapy, you want to be like a PT, a doctorate of PT, then definitely take these. Take as much as you can. We've got some really cool stuff for these classes. And we started offering them, I think, 2 years ago. So if you haven't taken one yet and you're looking to go into PT, or you're looking into, kind of do, like, some sports stuff, or possibly helping people in gyms, that's a really great thing there. We also have vet programs here. So if you want to go into a vet, it's a very niche thing, but we've got them. Then there's kind of the additional stuff, study halls and whatnot, JRTC. I highly recommend that you do not take the work release or the late entry, early release, or whatever it is. Unless, like, that you need to bring in money for your family in order to, pay the rent or keep the lights on, like, you'll never have another opportunity in your life to just go and learn for free. Everything else, like, every bit of learning you'll do after high school will cost you exorbitant amounts of money. And to be able to go in and, either take a calc class, or to go learn ceramics, or to, go use a plasma cutter in the basement, like, just getting out of school 40 minutes early when you can just say, like, oh, like, I'm going to go build something and then take that home for free. I don't see the work release actually helping a lot of people, especially because most people who take this work release, they're doing something like working at Bob Evans. And unless you have the plan to open your own chain of Bob Evans and work there for 35 more years, your, extra money you're getting from Bob Evans is not a big help to you, unless your family desperately needs it. I know some people say that they're going to use work release because they're going to save up money for college, if you're trying to save up money for college at a minimum wage job, which is, what we're stuck with in America right now for high schoolers for the most part, you're not saving up nearly enough money. Just colleges now for a 4-year degree for most places are going to run you anywhere between, if you're lucky, $60,000 to, for a private school, possibly $200,000. If you make $5,000 with the work release working at a minimum wage place, you're hardly putting a dent into that. And you could possibly get more out of just learning things here at the high school. So I highly recommend you don't take the work release. No junior ever wants to hear that. You've been trying to get to the work release your entire life, and to finally meet the math that just says your work that you're doing right now will not help you in the long run, that kind of hurts, to hear that at least. But I really do recommend that you find some interesting classes that you'll never be able to take again, such as the metalworking, or the graphics course, or the ceramics classes, all the coding stuff. These are just courses that don't put a large stress on your outside life, and the amount of skills that you can take away from them will help you in the long run immensely. So that is where I stand on the early release and whatnot. Students always ignore me on it, but I'm just trying to help you out. Then there's all stuff over here. If you're in this, and you already know about it. And that's it. That's all my advice in terms of your senior year scheduling. I would recommend taking a study hall, one for each semester, just, get a little bit of free time. But if you're not taking a study hall and you're like, hey, I'm pretty good with these classes, then go take the metalworking class, or go take the drone tech or whatnot. Go take something neat. Go take a ceramics class. Go take a coding course. Go learn something and have some fun with your senior year. You have the most options of anybody in the school right now, so make use of them. You've earned it. You've earned the right to take really cool and interesting classes. You've got the skills to take them and be good at them. So go do it. Go have fun and enjoy it. It's your senior year. Go prove it. Adios.